Yeah, no, I definitely think the intensity of practice has increased. I think in the beginning they were trying to figure everything out a little bit first week, and then coming back from spring break, trying to get back in the flow of it. But the intensity of practice has been really good. Guys are competing. We're taking steps, but consistency will be the key to changing something. So we just got to stay consistent with everything.
What was Saturday like with the first real contact?
It was awesome. It was like why we play, right? This is why we do it. I think we had 24 reps, and then we had a 2-minute drill. So that was good to see them out there because again, you got to protect them, and not go live all the time. But when we do, we're going to cut it loose. So that Saturday was the first chance to get to go and do that, and then we'll do it again this Saturday.
What have you liked about your quarterback so far this spring?
Yeah, I think running the operation. I think it's just something when you come in and you're new to a system, they got to control the line of scrimmage. They have to have a violent voice, and I think that's what's shown. I mean, certainly all of them are talented, but what I watch is I don't get into the X's and O's. It's just how you command the huddle, right? How you control the line of scrimmage, and that's been good. And it's a progress every day. We do a lot of things, so in terms of how we get lined up. So it's good to see that happening.
Are they farther ahead than you and Mike might have thought?
I guess it's all relative. I think the thing that I look at is they're listening. I said that to the staff yesterday. I think we got a group of guys that are hungry to win. They're listening to what we're asking them to do, and as long as they fall, when you fall, you can get back up. We don't talk about failure. We don't talk about performance, but we're falling a little bit, but it's good. We're getting back up. But I think, where we are is relative to where we need to be down the road, and I just look at every day, and we're being consistent with our actions, and that'll lead to good things.
When it comes to them, have you come up now with more of a time as to when you want to pick a QB1, or is that still going to happen when it happens?
Yeah, I think that happens when it happens. I think there's so much to evaluate. Certainly B-Rose coming back and those types of things as well. I mean, we got to get the whole group in there to evaluate that. But like I said, I think from my standpoint, with Coach Jake and Coach Belch in there, running the operation control, and that is really what I'm looking forward to.
We saw a lot of red zone today. What have you liked from the red zone offense, and what needs a little bit of work?
Yeah, I think first day of red zone, understanding, the field gets twice as wide as it is long, so things change, right? And when you get in the red zone, you got to protect the points. That's the first thing, right? We should have 3 every time. We want to score touchdowns, and that's where the quarterback comes into it, about going high to low, taking those shots when he needs to, and then checking the ball down. Then on defense, forcing field goal attempts. So situationally, we pretty much have everything in that we want for the spring. But before we watch the tape, I think just the energy and the intensity was really good.
Where do you think you're ahead of where you want to be, and where do you think you need to make more strides?
Yeah, for me, like I said, new systems on all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. They're going to fall, they're going to make mistakes, but as long as you're doing that with a purpose and understanding why, that's really what I'm looking at. It's hard. I haven't been in this league. I've played some teams. I don't know where everybody else is at, but if I worry about, that result and that performance, I'm gonna lead myself into a trap. So I think right now, like I said, we're listening. And I think that's the number one thing that I can preach to these guys about, is they're listening. They're hungry. I mean, there's an energy. They're doing things the right way. They're carrying themselves the right way in their life. And that's what I said at the end. If you can master your life and who you are, belief, ownership, and sacrifice in your life, that'll lead you to a chance to master your craft, right, which is your football ability. So that's what we're talking about. And I think these guys are listening and they're buying in. Adversity's always there. But we talk about having a plan for that, right? Be able to manage that. Don't react to adversity. Don't be shocked by something that's going to happen. So we're teaching. We're teaching them how to be young men and carry their life the right way. And if they do that, they'll put themselves in a position to be a great football player.
Not to exclude anybody, but is there anybody so far 2 weeks in that have stood out as leaders for this group?
Yeah, I think what I can preach to is I think that's what's been a major change is our special teams. I sit out here and I watch it, and I've been in the Big Ten for the last 8 years. We can do it. I mean, there's some talent there, and that goes a credit to Coach Kaz, what he's put together. We've invested in it. We didn't used to invest in that, and now we're investing in that. And we're seeing the product out here on the field, and just that'll be huge. Field possession, being able to conquer that and making big plays. So I would say the special teams for me has been the brightest spot because I just know how important it is, especially with the defensive background. And I tell the defensive players all the time, stop complaining about special teams, you're going to be on it, right? The majority of the special teams is made up of defense. And I think that's the biggest thing that's kind of points out to me right now.
From what you've seen, how are the players gelling off the field?
From what I can see, I'm not always with them, but it's been good. And I can tell when they come in the building, there's a hunger to be there. We got guys coming back in for extra work. If you just do what's required, you're just going to do what's required and you're not going to get anything out of it. So that overtime that you got to put in, guys are coming back after they go to class. Guys are coming back to get meals and nutrition with Coach Green, which I think, besides special teams, that's probably the number one way that we've changed this program is the nutrition and the support that we've gotten from our administration to be able to do that and feed these guys. Their body's their car, and they got to put the right things in. And I think that's the biggest thing, that we're recovering faster, we're doing the right things, and we're able to go out here with intensity.
Is the portal open for you guys yet?
Not yet. April 16th, I think.
How much is the juggling going right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you're looking at guys right now, and between that and trying to teach these guys how to play.
Yeah, it's a constant evaluation. I think a lot of the decisions that we make moving forward will be off of these spring practices. That's why they're so important, all of them. But I think the number one thing that we need to focus on is our culture and keep building that up, because the culture will weed out the guys that don't want to be here, and it'll show you who you can rely on. And I think that's what we're trying to teach right now. And then, just in terms of the portal and when it opens, we'll have a strategic plan on what we need, where we need to get better. But, I'll say this, we want a high school recruit. I mean, high school recruit is where you develop your culture, right? That's your draft, right? We got to draft well. We got to have the farm system ready, and then, the portal will be used as some free agency moving forward to see where we have some holes, see where we need to get more athletic, bigger, all those things that go into it, and that's how we're going to plan our approach to that.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
Coach Anderson next.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you.